I've been excited about seeing Jurassic World for a while now. Bum, 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 ba, 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 ba. I was a huge Jurassic Park fan when I was a kid. We had the movie in at least two different forms, all the toys. I was just a Dino obsessive. Somehow, though, all the hubbub and fanfare for the Jurassic World movie kind of slipped past me. Maybe I just wasn't following it as closely as other things. My love of the first movie is still there, but as with lots of different things, I kind of grew out of my dino love when I was about 10. The premise of the new movie is that it takes place after the first film. It essentially disregards the second and the third one. We go back to the original island where, after the accidents and the killing and the failure of the first park, they didn't give up and they rebuilt it and rebranded it as Jurassic World. Jurassic World has basically been operating as a pretty similar to zoos and theme parks that you see, like San Diego Zoo or Universal Theme Park. You have different hotels and resorts there. It's really kind of corpo too. You see lots of different restaurants, lots of product placement, which I'm sure um, the JP World guys got a little bit of a kickback on. But also, I think it was done intentionally just to kind of emphasize kind of the sellout nature of the park. And since the park's been around for a while now, we get introduced to the reason for the genetically modified dinosaur you may have heard about, the Indominus Rex, or the I-Rex for short. They built this dinosaur basically because people are getting bored, and it makes sense. I mean, people get accustomed to things that they've already seen, and there's a reference actually made by one of the characters in the movie comparing the dinosaurs of the park. Once you've seen it, she says something to the effect of, once you've seen it once, it's just like looking at an elephant. And I think that would be true if this actually happened in real life. The I-Rex is basically a cross of different dinosaurs. We're told that its base is a T-Rex, but we're not really sure what else went into the making of it. And kind of those unknown parts, if you will, are the cause of a lot of trouble in the film. Escape of the I-Rex is the reason for all the drama in the film. It actually, well, there's various escapades of the characters trying to take down the dinosaur, and then eventually actually breaks into the aviary on the island, which lets out all the flying dinosaurs who then go on to attack the people. In a way, there's a little character development. We have a nice, an okay story about one of the main characters, Claire. She's like a manager of Jurassic World. Her nephews come to visit, and there's kind of an interesting dynamic there. Also, there's kind of some brotherly relationships between the two brothers. One's a little bit older than the other one, and they kind of have different interests. The older brother's more interested in girls. The younger brother, he's kind of an I don't want to say a nerd, but he's really smart. And so they originally start off as being kind of distant with one another, but as the film progresses, they become more closer. I won't go too in depth of the story, um, in case anybody wants to go out and see it, but I'll just give a couple of my thoughts. Beginning with the good, I thought there was some pretty solid acting. I mean, the script wasn't anything amazing, but you have Star Lord Chris Pratt, who, I mean, he's so hot right now, but he gives a good performance, and he's really entertaining to watch every time he's on screen. The lady who plays the aunt, I think Bryce Dallas Howard is her name. She gives a good performance as well. Probably my favorite part of the film is all the callbacks and send-ups of the original Jurassic Park. There's one employee who actually works for Jurassic World in kind of the control room, and he's got an original JP shirt on, which he kind of gets in trouble for. When the two kids are kind of trying to survive on their own, they actually end up at the compound from the first film, and it has the Jeeps that they were in, kind of those camo green ones, and those kind of famous night vision goggles from the first movie. So there's lots of kind of nostalgia trips, and of course the John Williams score. Yeah, I mean it's tough to beat that. The CGI in this movie was, I mean, it was good. It didn't really take you out of the film at all. At the same time, I wasn't blown away. I was just watching a documentary on the original Jurassic Park the other day after seeing this movie, to kind of see how they did all that. And if you go back and watch the first film, I still almost think that um, those effects hold up just as good compared to this film today. Uh, they use a little bit more animatronics in the first movie, which maybe adds to the realism. Um, but overall, the I mean, it was a good movie to look at. All sorts of different sequences. The dinosaurs look good. Only downside is at times it kind of looks like a computer game. For the bad, which sadly for me kind of outweighed the good in this movie. First of all, everybody was just so stupid. Some of the decisions in this film were just ridiculous. Owner of Jurassic World, um, he's he was a likable character. I like the actor, but at one point he decides that he's going to fly the helicopter when they go after the I-Rex, try and kill it, and it just obviously wasn't going to work out well. He ends up crashing it and getting killed. Spoilers. Um, but that was just kind of made me do one of these. There was also this whole subplot of the military wanting to use the raptors as a weapon. Chris Pratt, the character he plays, is kind of like a Steve Irwin, Jane Goodall for the Velociraptors, and he can kind of control them to some extent. There's this military guy who's really pressuring him into seeing what their applications might be um, for the United States military. Chris Pratt's justifiably not too excited about this idea. He knows that he doesn't have complete control over them, but at one point in the film, he's kind of forced into using them the way that this one guy is suggesting when they go after the I-Rex, and the results are, as you can imagine, not very good. Lastly, well, the whole final sequence of the movie, and spoilers again, they let the T-Rex, which I guess is the T-Rex from the original movie, out of its cage to kind of fight the I-Rex in like a Godzilla style battle. And it works out for him, but I thought that was, I mean, it was pretty silly. And so the T-Rex and the Velociraptor team up and they take the I-Rex down. And the worst part had to have been the T-Rex kind of gives him a little look, kind of gives him one of these. And then Chris Pratt kind of looks at the T-Rex and gives him one of these. And then the Velociraptor and Chris Pratt kind of stare into each other's eyes for a little bit. One of my favorite things about the original Jurassic Park and The Lost World to some extent was how they portrayed the dinosaurs as as real animals. They weren't monsters, and they certainly didn't have human characteristics. It was very much had an element of realism, and so some of the interactions between the people and the dinosaurs, especially Chris Pratt and the Velociraptors, it just struck me as I wasn't a fan. Overall, I'd give Jurassic World a 6 out of 10. It was a fun movie. I'd encourage everybody to maybe go see it at least once if they were at all interested in the old movies. The nostalgia trip is certainly worth it. Like I said earlier, the John Williams music is just incredible. It takes you right back to whenever you first saw the original films. Um, if you're kind of on the fence about seeing it, I suggest maybe taking your money and going to see Mad Max Fury Road. Now that was a crazy fucking movie. All right, that's all I got. Thanks. Like, comment, subscribe. See ya.